may justice be served, because this is not what they promised.
Okay. What do you mean?
And,
what do you mean by this is not what they promised?
well, because they said they would go after a certain group of people, and it's the people who are criminals. But they're corralling and detaining everyone who is undocumented, as well as everyone who has legal work authorization, and they're even detaining people who have residencies.
You're hearing my interview with Catherine Guevara, the daughter of Mario Guevara, a Salvadoran journalist based in Georgia, who was arrested in June on quickly dismissed criminal charges. But the Trump administration secured an order for his deportation. His son said to CNN and in a live stream on Thursday that he is set to be deported today, Friday at 11 a.m. Guevara was the only known journalist detained by ICE on U.S. soil, according to the bitter Southerner. I'm Juliana Ramazzini, a reporter for El Faro English. In this special October episode of Central America in Minutes, we zoom in on a case where attacks on immigrants in Georgia and press freedom collide. In Nicaragua, the house arrest of Daniel Ortega's brother
relates more to El Salvador and Honduras than to Guatemala. In the case of Guatemala,
they say globalism comes to die at CPAC, but in El Salvador, it's already dead.
Central America in Minutes on El Faro English.
Mario Guevara is a journalist who used to work for La Prensa Gráfica, one of El Salvador's two largest traditional newspapers. In 2004, he moved to the United States, where he and his wife have 3 children, including 2 U.S. citizen children and 1 DACA recipient. In 2021 and 2022, he was named one of the 50 most influential Latinos in Georgia, and he was the subject of a New York Times documentary, Boca del Lobo. He describes himself in court records as a Sunday school teacher and a key caretaker for one of his sons, who suffered a stroke. He also runs a news page carrying his own initials, MG News, focused on the Hispanic community in the Atlanta area. He even says he liked to do ride-alongs with police officers. That's why, in June, Guevara went to cover a protest by the No Kings movement, a demonstration against the aggressive immigration raids and other actions of Trump's return to the White House. He was in Amber Hills, an Atlanta suburb with a large Latino population. He was wearing a bulky protest helmet and a big black vest with press written in white letters across the chest. He was streaming to the Facebook news site that he operates, MG News. At one point, he walked on the sidewalk along with police, far away from protesters. Then he caught his own arrest on camera. Police charged at him, so he backpedaled into the street. This is audio from CNN.
Officer, I'm a member of the media, officer.
Officers grab him and his phone falls to the ground.
Okay. Let me finish. You take my phone, please, to my work. Don't leave there, please. Thank you, officer. Thank you.
Guevara was charged with some really small-time crimes, failing to disperse and standing in the roadway, even though it was the police who backed him into the roadway and he was alone, not in the crowd. The authorities would later slap on some minor traffic offenses dating from before his arrest. It was all so small time, in fact, that each of these charges was dropped almost immediately because, as he was recording, there was evidence that he was not breaking any laws. His lawyer, Scarlett Kim, spoke with El Faro English.
But what happened at the hearing is that the immigration judge decided that he should be released, but ICE decided that they weren't going to release him on the basis that his reporting itself was dangerous.
ICE's Atlanta field office didn't respond to a request for comment. Kim explains that ICE cannot continue to detain somebody unless they consider them a flight risk or danger to the community. That's why the government appealed to keep Guevara detained, where he has remained to this day. From that moment on, 2 ongoing cases had been opened for Guevara: an immigration case over whether to deport him, and a habeas corpus case, challenging his ongoing detention as unlawful. While in custody, ICE filed a motion to reopen his asylum case, which had been denied in 2012. So he made his case before the Bureau of Immigration Appeals, and the appeal was still pending. Kim says that the government agreed to basically close the removal proceedings against him, giving him permission to live and work in the United States. One of his children had petitioned to sponsor him for a green card. Mario actually has a clear path to residency, his lawyer said. But this was steamrolled 2 weeks ago when the immigration court decided to open his removal case and deny the motion to have a judge review his green card process. Instead, authorities wanted him removed right away. Guevara's lawyers filed emergency motions to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta to halt his deportation, but they were denied, according to CNN en Español. Here's Catherine again talking about her father's arrest earlier this week.
It's just added so much stress and anxiety, and every day I wake up and I'm thinking about it every single day, ever since it happened, and just, not knowing what's going to happen next and what the government may come up with now. Like, what are they going to do against him now?
Hey, let's pause for a second before moving on with today's episode. At El Faro English, we work to build a bridge between Central America, the United States, and the English-speaking world. We bring you our podcast, Central American Minutes, every week. If this work has helped you better understand our region, go to support.elfaro.net to help us keep translating Central America.
The South Atlantic state of Georgia is home to a large immigrant community of about 1.3 million people, about 11% of the state's population. The largest groups of immigrants are from Mexico, India, Guatemala, Jamaica, and Vietnam, in that order, according to the American Immigration Council. On April 8th, ICE reported an interagency effort to arrest undocumented immigrants with a focus on alleged criminal offenders. It's a real acronym soup of agencies: the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Drug Enforcement Administration, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosive, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and United States Marshal Service. These moves in Georgia had even caused diplomatic trouble. One of the largest raids this year took place on September 4th, targeting a Hyundai LG battery factory. They detained at least 475 workers, many of whom were South Koreans with residency papers. Others were from Mexico and Colombia. According to the New York Times, officials admitted that at least one worker was legally employed but still forced him to leave the country. The South Koreans agreed to invest $350 million in projects to reduce tariffs imposed by Trump. But they say the operation may jeopardize their investments. As for the ICE raids, the agency has reported increased arrests this year across the state. These were the subject of coverage by Mario Guevara in his outlet, MG News. Catherine says his case highlights the dismantling of due process, too.
And so, for sure, I think there's an erosion of due process, and I just don't know what's going to become of this country if they're able to take away people's rights that way.
Thanks for streaming Central American Minutes. Today's episode was written by Juliana Ramazzini and edited by me, Roman Gressier. Production and soundtrack by Omnion. Subscribe and share wherever you do your streaming. And we'll see you next week. Hasta pronto.